All right, welcome to the second episode of the Powers of Madness broadcast. Zane Powers,
Peyton Powers.
and we are ready. We're going to jump into the rankings, Pate. I'm going to name my top four. So I'll number one seeds, and then you can do yours. I've got Duke, Auburn, Houston, and Florida. My top didn't change. I think the biggest win out of the top four was Florida beating A&M.
Huge win. Mine was the exact same as yours. I had Florida as the first two seed, so I think Bama losing was big for them. So they moved up to the one line for me. I think the only difference is I have Auburn as the number one overall seed.
Okay. All right. So you did the number two seeds. Who you got?
Okay, my two seeds are Tennessee, Alabama, Michigan State, and I moved St. John's up to the two seed just because they haven't lost in a long time. Alabama moves down. Michigan State had about the best week out of anybody in college basketball. I don't think they can move up to a one, but I think that week just solidified them as a two seed. I don't see them going down. And Tennessee obviously had a crazy win. And I think they almost can't move down to a three at this point.
My order didn't change. My order did change because I had St. John's at 5. And I still have St. John's in the top, but I moved them back a couple slots. But 3 of my teams are the same as yours. Michigan State, Tennessee, St. John's, and then I have Texas Tech as the last 2 seeds still. I kept Texas Tech at 8. I thought they had a big win at Kansas. And I didn't feel like, at least where I had them, they didn't need to move down. So I moved Michigan State up 1. I moved Tennessee up 1 for their win. And then I moved St. John's back 2 just because I feel like Michigan State and Tennessee had bigger wins than St. John's did during the week. So that's what I have.
Okay.
Move on to number 3 seeds. I have Iowa State, Alabama, Maryland, and Arizona.
Okay.
I moved back Bama 1. I moved Iowa State up 2. I thought their win over Arizona at home was big. I moved Arizona back 2 spots to 12. And then I moved Maryland up 3 spots because I feel like another win wasn't that big on, I think it was Saturday. But it was still a good win.
Yeah. So my 3 seeds, I had Wisconsin. They moved down. I mean, I know that they lost on the road to Michigan State, but I just got to thinking, I just see them as a 3 seed because I think I switched them with St. John's. St. John's just their record looks better. And then I have Iowa State. They had a bad loss, but a good win, and I think they proved, like, when they have Gilbert and Curtis Jones, they're a top 5 team in the country. Then I had Texas Tech. They were a 4 seed for me. They moved up, huge win over Kansas. And then I moved Texas A&M. I still have them as a 3 seed. I know they had a bad week, but they still have a lot of good wins this year. And so they're my last 3 seed.
Okay. Who you got the 4s?
At my 4s, I got Michigan. They moved, I think I moved them down a little, like 2 spots. They lost Saturday or Sunday. Yeah, they lost Sunday at home to Illinois. Illinois, they've been struggling, and then to blow them out like that, I had to move them down. I still have Missouri as a 4 seed. They moved up once, even though they lost to Vanderbilt. Still think they're a 4 seed. Still have Clemson as a 4 seed. And then I moved Kentucky. I know it's kind of crazy for me to Kentucky down after they beat OU and then lost to Auburn, but I just got to thinking, like, after seeing Jackson Robinson out for season, they can't really have that excuse of him being all those losses from him being out. So I moved him down to the last 4 seed.
Okay. I have 2 of those as 4 seeds, and I have 2 that are like on my just missing category. I have 13 as Wisconsin, and then I have 14. So I moved Wisconsin back 1 spot. Then I moved up Louisville and Clemson. I had them 15-16. I have them 14-15 now. And then I moved Missouri all the way back from 13 to 16. It's not that the Vanderbilt loss is awful, but it's the fact that they lost. And this is the time when you've got to win games. And that game was a home game, wasn't it? That they lost to Vanderbilt?
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, no.
Or was it on the road?
Road game.
At Vanderbilt, it's weird playing on the road at Vanderbilt because I think the benches are on the baseline.
Yeah, and the coaches are, like, standing by themselves. They don't even get to talk to the assistant coaches.
Yeah. It's
Kind of weird.
Strange spot. So let's move into name some teams that we think are just on the outside looking in of the tournament. Let's just do one at a time. My first one is St. Mary's. I think that they're close. They're the only mid-major. I mean, I have a couple other mid-majors that I listed in here, this list, but to me, they're the best mid-major.
Yeah. No. I think I didn't put them on my almost list, but I definitely think they're a 6 seed. But I just think there's too many good teams at the top this year. But my team, I have Maryland.
Okay.
I mean,
they're
just outside. I mean,
I've got them as a 3 seed.
They might, yeah. I mean, there's just too many good teams, but I think Maryland, they win the games they're supposed to, but they might not have as much as big wins as the top teams in the Big Ten.
But they're gonna have opportunities,
yeah,
especially in the Big Ten tournament.
And we'll see how they prove themselves in the Big Ten tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And another team I have put, another Big Ten team on the outside is Purdue. I think. I mean, they have a lot of good wins this year. I think they've struggled as of recent, but I still think they're just outside of the 4 seed.
Yeah. Another one that I have that you have in your top 20 or top 16 is Texas A&M. I mean, people say that it's biased. It's a reason that I don't have them in.
A little biased.
But I'm going to prove that I'm not biased in our picks.
I mean, they did. So. They went 0-2 this week.
Yeah. And I don't think that helped. Their net is 23 and their KenPom's 22. So if the committee uses those.
We know the committee really loved them last year.
Well, and they like the eye test. And A&M passes the eye test because they are athletic and they're really good offensive rebounding team. And if you're a good offensive rebounding team in the tournament, then you're probably going to win games.
Yeah.
Another one that I have is Kentucky. I know that you have them in. Their net is 15 and their KenPom is 18, which is really good. They've got opportunities all over the place, and they're going to have more opportunities in the SEC tournament. So they're going to have opportunities to get in, no doubt. But they're a team that I have just on the outside right now.
Okay, my third team I had just on the outside, who I think is the best mid-major, Memphis.
Okay, I've got them too.
I know they've had some close losses with the American Conference, but we said the same thing about Houston. Like, they're not going to be able to compete in the Big 12. And you look, Memphis, non-conference did really good. I think they won the Maui Invitational. They beat a lot of good teams. I think they're going to make a run in March just because they're really talented.
Got a good coach.
Got a good coach. And, I mean, I don't think they'll be a 4 seed. I see them as a 5 seed, though, right now.
The analytics don't like Memphis, and I'm not really sure why. It doesn't make any sense to me, and maybe they've got some bad losses. I haven't just gone down and looked at their whole schedule, but the net has them at a 45, and the KenPom has them at a 48.
I did not know that.
So it doesn't make any sense to me because
wild.
I think they're ranked like 19th or 18th. They're in the top 20. That's strange. Who else you got?
My last team, I put Marquette just because, I mean, I haven't really heard about them recently, but just because they haven't really played a top team. I mean, I don't know, at the start of the year, they were looking at like a top 5 team. They still got a good record, and I think the committee still probably likes Marquette. They had a good non-conference. But there's one team that I didn't put that I kind of looking back, I could have put is Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
But they just didn't make the cut.
I've got Arizona as a 3 seed. Michigan is one that I mentioned that you have in your list that I think is a just miss for me. And we talked about this team last week, but I think we've got to talk about them again because the analytics love this team, and it's Gonzaga.
Oh, Gonzaga.
The net has them as number 8.
I don't know why, but the analytics always loves Gonzaga, and that's the reason they always get in.
They played a really tough non-conference schedule, and they were okay.
And they won a few games.
Yeah. But they have lost 4 conference games.
They have, but they seem like it gets March, and they always seem to win. Like, they needed to beat San Francisco on Saturday night, and they did. Got like 20 on the road.
Dominated them. In the Warriors arena.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. The KenPom has them at 18, so, I mean, both analytics love
Doesn't
them.
make sense, but...
It means that they're probably efficient on offense, efficient on defense.
I mean, they have the leading assist maker in the league, Nembhard. So,
well, Peyton, let's talk about some midweek games. These games will all take place either tonight, on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. We got a lot of them to go through, so we'll just instead of like dwelling on, we've talked about a lot of these teams. We'll talk about who we think is going to win and maybe a short of why. So first game is Wake Forest at Duke.
I'm taking Duke. I actually think it'll be close.
It's a big game for Wake.
Just because Duke hasn't played like a team that's decent in a while, and like Wake Forest, if they win this, they're in the tournament. If they lose, I think they're out right now, just out. I think it'll actually be close for a little bit, but Duke pull away.
Another one on Big Monday, Kansas at Houston.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be close at all. I think Houston is just gonna blow them out. Like, I don't see Kansas. I think they're just hurt right now. Like they're broken right now. Houston will blow them
Here's
out.
my thing. I think Houston is going to rest players this week because they don't have to win any more games.
They don't have
I know
to,
that you say that they're going to try and win because they want number 1 seed. And I think that Kansas knows it's not that they have to win games to make the tournament. I think that they're going to be in regardless. They're going to be in regardless of what happens over this next week. But I think Kansas knows how big this win would be for them. It would have been big for them to beat Texas Tech on Saturday, but just Texas Tech on the road, man. Let's go.
Road dogs.
But I think Kansas is going to beat Houston tonight.
There's no chance.
Okay. We'll see when we do
There's
this
no chance.
Thursday. You'll see. Texas at Mississippi State.
Josh Hubbard for Mississippi State, probably going for 40 points. I mean, that's just how it's been for Texas recently. I think Mississippi State's going to win by about 10 at home. I just don't think Texas has enough in the tank. All they have is Trey Johnson. That's it.
Rodney Terry, you can put this on the bulletin board. You ain't winning in the dog pound. You're going down. Mississippi State's winning this one. Going away, I more than 10. I'm going to say 15. Auburn at Texas A&M. Peyton, I don't care what you say. A&M is winning this game. And I think that A&M – and here's my guarantee. A&M's going to win. It's going to be by multiple possessions, which means it's going to be at least by 4. It's going to be at least by 4. I think they're actually going to win closer to 10, by 10. And I'm going to be putting A&M in my top 16 after this game.
That's wild. The biggest A&M hater thinks they're going to be the best team in the nation. Think
second best team. I think Duke's the best.
I don't know.
Okay.
But I actually think I'm not hating on it because I think it's gonna be close.
Mm-hmm.
But like Auburn, they just seem like inevitable at this point. Like
They're good.
they just got that swagger when they walk in. Like it doesn't matter where they're playing at. But I think they're just gonna pull it out in the end.
It's all about matchups, and it's going to be about draws when it gets to the NCAA tournament. But there are two locks that I think right now of Final Four teams that I
Duke,
just
Auburn.
cannot see them losing is Duke and Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else to me is a little bit up in the air,
Yeah.
and I think that there's like 8 more teams that could mix in to have those other final 2 spots. But Duke and Auburn, to me, like we're gonna see those guys in San Antonio.
Definitely.
BYU at Iowa State. This is a big matchup for the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, fully healthy. I'm assuming they're going to be fully healthy like last game. I mean, Gilbert, Curtis Jones, I don't see Iowa State losing. I really don't. Fully healthy, I mean, the crowd is going to be crazy. It's probably their last home game. I got Iowa State.
Winner of this game, to me, gets double bye in the Big 12. I'm almost positive. It may not be completely accurate, but I'm almost positive winner of this game will guarantee themselves double bye.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa State at home in Hilton Coliseum. Good.
I know they lost to K-State, but that was a fluke.
Yeah.
It had to be.
Yeah. This one is a hate game. They hate each other. Baylor at TCU. I'm going to go with Baylor on the road at TCU. I think Baylor's a better team. It would not surprise me if TCU won, but I'm going Baylor.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think Baylor is just they're gonna find a way. I think TCU needs it way more than Baylor. They're just gonna be trying so hard like to hit big shots and like playing not to lose instead of to win. I think Scott Drew is a way better coach than whatever his name is.
Jamie Dixon.
Yeah, I think Baylor's gonna find a way.
Jamie Dixon spent too much time standing on the court, getting in the
Yeah.
players' way. Still haven't forgiven him for twisting Kevin McCullough's ankle. He might have finished his career at Tech. Indiana at Oregon.
So Oregon has actually been on a quiet 5-game win streak.
Okay.
Most teams at this point would be playing themselves out of the bubble. Indiana's doing the exact opposite. They've won 3 in a row. So something's got to give. I think Indiana's 3-game win streak comes to an end, and Oregon's going to blow them out at home.
Wow. I don't think Indiana's going to blow Oregon out, but I think Indiana is going to win. How about this? Indiana's going to win on a last-second shot that is not a half-court shot or a three-pointer. It's going to be a layup or something on the inside. Okay. Another Big Ten game, another Big Ten game that is going to probably have implications on who makes the tournament and who misses. Nebraska and Ohio State.
Huge game. For Nebraska, you got Bryce Williams, who is a dog, but he can't do it by himself. Like against, I think it was their game against Michigan. He had the first 19 points of the game, but I think Ohio State is better than what the record shows. I think they got a lot of weapons actually, and I think they're gonna win at home. Huge game though.
Ohio State at home. That they have a. If I'm looking at cool, unique places in the Big Ten that are massive home court advantages, like I think Ohio State is near the top of that in the Big Ten.
We know how they're feeling after their football national championship. So
they're lit. I think the 2 toughest places to play in the Big Ten for me, if I'm looking at it as an outsider, I've never been to any Big Ten arenas. Ohio State and Michigan State, to me, are the toughest 2.
I would say Purdue and Michigan State. Those would be my 2.
I'm not scared of Purdue. Never have been.
I've seen a video of their atmosphere. It looks pretty nice.
Okay. Next one, another big game in the SEC that this may be more for seeding in the big dance.
Arkansas definitely needs this, I
But,
think.
yeah, Arkansas at Vanderbilt. I'm going to go Vanderbilt at home. I think Vanderbilt is hot right now. And I see Vandy winning this against the Razorbacks.
Yeah, I think Vanderbilt is scary. Like, I think they're making a run in March.
Getting NC State vibes from Vandy.
Yeah, but better. Like,
Yeah.
definitely better. Like, they just got so many dudes. Like, it don't matter. It's like one night this guy goes off. I think that's a scary team. Arkansas, like, I don't know what they were doing Saturday. I didn't watch any of that game. I just seen they were down 60-30 at one point. I don't know how that happened, but I think Vanderbilt will win.
Sorry, Coach Cal.
Yeah.
This let's go to the Big 12 for a little bit. This is a big game for West Virginia. I don't know that Utah really has much of a shot at getting into the big dance, but
If they were going to, they need it.
they need it. And I'm going to pick, without a head coach, Utah to beat West Virginia. West Virginia to me is so inconsistent, and if they're going to lose a game, it's going to be on the road. And if it's going to happen anywhere, it's going to happen in the weirdest spot that it's going to be, and that's Utah.
They are a little inconsistent, but I just think like Utah's a team that they have to be making their threes if they want to win. I
It's
think
at home, man.
I know, but I just have a feeling that West Virginia is gonna win just because they're the way better team, and I mean I don't know. It's the bubble's crazy this year, so we don't really know how the committee thinks about West Virginia, but most people think they're safe right now, but I think they'll end up winning.
You know, that's the thing. Like, I love what the committee does with putting out the top 16 teams. You know what I think that they should do along with that is put the last 4 in.
I actually like that they don't do that because it make like no one knows.
No one knows.
No one has any idea when it comes
Because
to.
all you know what they're thinking about.
That's
right
why
now
I
is
think
the
it's
top.
fun.
Yeah, it's
Because no one knows.
It's wild. Another Big 12, couple Big 12 games. Colorado at Tech. This is a massive trap game to me
Huge
because
trap game.
Tech is looking. This is last home games, which makes it better
Mm-hmm.
that you can focus on that. It's not senior night. They've already done the senior night deal, so you don't have to worry about the distraction of that either. Tech should win this game by 25 points. It should not even be close. But Colorado, to me, is a little bit scary because they have nothing at all to play for. They can lay it all out there. This would be a huge resume win for them. Like, not for getting into anything, but, like, just put it up there. We beat a top 10 team on the road. But I'm picking Tech.
So I don't know if Chance or Darian are gonna play, which it shouldn't matter. Like, if I know it's a trap game, I think Tech will end up blowing them out, but it is kind of scary. But I just think there's a reason Colorado's only won 2 games this year in the Big 12.
Last one, again, tournament implications for Cincinnati as they host Kansas State. But I wouldn't want to play Kansas State right now because Kansas State, to me, has potential of being a really, really, really good team. They have really good players. And at any time, I think that they could beat anybody. I'm actually going to pick Kansas State to beat Cincinnati on the road.
I could for sure seen it happen, but I don't know. I think K-State, they had that run where they were feeling themselves, and then they had just that one loss to Utah where it just broke their spirits.
Yeah.
I think Cincinnati's playing great right now. They played Houston tough on the road. I think they're gonna pull it out at home in a game they really need. Like, they have to have it.
Yeah.
So
I could see it. I just don't like the Skyline Chili either. Back to the Big Ten. It's a huge game in the Big Ten. And all of these last few games, let's say the next 4 games that we're going to talk about are huge national scale games. Maryland at Michigan.
Okay, I actually think Michigan is a little bit kind of fraudulent. I'm not going to lie. I especially seeing them on Sunday. And, you know, Maryland has a lot of talent. They got that one dude, Gillespie. They got that. They have a lot
Reese's brother.
Angel Reese's brother.
Julian.
That battle dude. I think they got a lot of talent. I think they'll win on the road.
I agree with you, Pate. I think Maryland's going to pull this one out on the road at Michigan. How about this one? Florida at Alabama. Like, after Alabama's huge game against Tennessee, they're going to come home and host Florida. Florida coming off a big win over at Texas A&M. And they're going to go on the road to Bama now. Who do you got?
I mean, we've seen a lot of these huge matchups in the SEC this year. I mean, it's basically a coin flips at this point. But I got Bama at home. I think they're going to be pissed off from that heartbreaking loss that they had last week. There's no reason they should have lost that game if you're watching. But it's going to be a huge crowd, I'm assuming. And I'm assuming Sears has 30 points this game.
So
I'm taking Alabama.
if you're predicting that, then you're predicting Alabama to score over 100 points.
This game will be in the hundreds, I
Okay.
promise you. No defense.
I'm picking Florida. I think Florida's playing for a number 1 seed right now. And I think if they win this game, I almost think they can lock a number 1 seed. I know that they're going to have a lot of big games left, but I think I don't know who they play in their last regular season game, but I think if they win this game on the road at Alabama, following it after beating Texas A&M, I think that this could put them on the 1 line, and it might not move them out of it.
If they win this one, they're a 1 seed. Okay.
Another big SEC game, Missouri at Oklahoma.
Yeah. OU, they got 4 conference wins, but there's a lot of bracketologists still have them in just because non-conference they beat
Is that
Michigan.
insane though to think that you've only won 4 conference
It's
games?
crazy. I mean, non-conference they beat Michigan, who's top of the Big Ten, Arizona's top of the Big 12, and Louisville's top of the ACC. Like, that's keeping them in right now.
It's wild.
And I think they're gonna get it done. They're finally gonna get this big win against Missouri at home. They should have beat Kentucky. They're gonna beat Missouri though at home.
This right now is Oklahoma hanging on to like tournament hopes. Missouri comes to town. Missouri's gonna win. It is I don't know. I'm going with the Tigers there. Big game at Ole Miss. Tennessee travels to Ole Miss to see old Chris Beard. What do you think about that?
I actually like Tennessee a lot. They play great defense. I don't think Ole Miss is that great as I thought they were at probably like the middle of the season. They're just not up there with the top dogs in the SEC. I mean, they're a tournament team, but I just think Tennessee's gonna feel hot after that huge win, and they're gonna get another win on the road.
March, Chris Beard scares me, but Tennessee scares me more. I think that Tennessee will win on the road at Ole Miss. Peyton, this next game is a big game in the Big East for Villanova. Again, maybe more seed-wise, because I think that they're probably in, but they could be bubble team if they lose this game, and they could maybe even be out. So
Yeah.
Villanova at Georgetown. I'm picking Georgetown, and again, Villanova might be joining OU over there on the outside looking in.
Yeah, they're definitely. I don't think they have a shot at getting in if they lose this game. It would be the most Villanova loss for them since Jay Wright's left. I mean, they just.
It's been a downhill slide.
Yeah, but I just think they're more desperate. A game that you thought they would have lost was Seton Hall, I think, a week ago. They ended up winning. I just think it's obviously going to be close, but you got Eric Dixon, who leads the nation in points per game. So I'm taking Nova. They're more desperate.
Okay. Another desperate team is Xavier. They're traveling on the road to Butler. I'm actually picking Xavier in this Big East matchup. I think that Xavier is going to go on the road to Hinkle Fieldhouse, pull it off, keep their tournament hopes alive.
Yeah, I think Xavier's solid.
They are they on,
I think they're in right now.
Okay.
I think they're a team that's just in right now. I think they're a solid team, but I just see a heartbreaking loss on the road. I do. But I think it's obviously a tough place to play. Butler is not good this year, but it's not going to make sense, but Butler is going to beat Xavier.
If you're a ranked team, about the last place that you would want to play right now, outside of someplace in the SEC, would be at UConn, facing the two-time defending champs on the road who need a win desperately to impress the selection committee. And that's what Marquette is doing. They're traveling to UConn to play. I'm picking UConn at home. I don't know that you can pick against Hurley this late in the season. And I think he's going to get his boys ready, and they're going to beat Marquette. It's going to be an upset, which is crazy to say that UConn would have to pull off an upset in the Big East this late in the season. But I think they're going to do it.
I do too. I got UConn at home. I don't think Marquette's very good at all. They're not playing good. They're fraudulent. And I really also don't think UConn's very good. I think a lot of people are seeing that too. But I'll take them at home against Marquette.
The crazy thing, Pate, that we haven't really done in all of this is talk about a whole lot of mid-major teams, but every single year when you get to the big dance, there are mid-major teams that come out of nowhere and they're in the Sweet 16. Very few times do those teams make it to the Final Four, but last year there was 2 of them that if we were to talk about them at this time of the year last year, people would have called us crazy to say that FAU and San Diego State were going to be in the Final Four. Do you have anybody that you can think of right now that it's just maybe one team out of a mid-major where you're like, watch out, they could make a Final Four.
Definitely Drake.
Okay.
Definitely Drake. They kind of remind me of, it's not really the same, but it kind of is. I think Wichita State one year, they were just the whole year they were undefeated maybe. And then I think a lot of teams thought they were going to get upset, and I think they might have took one of the greatest Kentucky teams down to the wire. I think Drake, they're really good. They beat Vanderbilt non-conference. They got a great coach. They're playing with a bunch of D2 guys that won a national championship, and it's a Cinderella story. You wouldn't think they'd make a run in the tournament, but I think they will.
This is gonna be. I'm gonna get clowned for this, and it's a way hot take, but I know that they're gonna be in the tournament, and so I know that they're gonna have an opportunity. But I think Gonzaga, they've got, I think, out of mid majors, they have the best coach, and so. And the reality is they've got good players too. I know that they haven't had a great season, and they've lost 4 games in the West Coast Conference, which is not good this season, outside of St. Mary's and Gonzaga. And I think that Gonzaga is going to make a run. They're going to be in the Sweet 16, and if you get in the Sweet 16, anybody can win those games. I mean, you're just a couple games away from making the Final Four, and so I think that Gonzaga could be a team, and it's all going to depend on draws, all going to depend on brackets that we could see in the Final Four, and it would be it's crazy to talk about it right now. It's just dumb to think that they could make it that far.
Another team to watch out for, McNeese. Just saying. They got Will Wade.
Okay.
Coming into his second straight year into the tournament. They got lit up last year by Gonzaga, but I think they got. If you've seen a video of their manager, with their players, he's singing this rap song. They're all vibing. They just look like a team that's making a run. I don't know.
I can see it, especially with a guy like Will Wade. I mean, they could get there. So, all right. Hey, well, thanks for joining us this week. We'll have another episode on Thursday after all these games that we've talked about have gone down. And with the type of games that we've got going on this week, you could definitely shake up our rankings. If somebody gets upset or somebody pulls off a big win on the road, or whatever happens. So thanks for joining us this week. We'll see you again next week.